The lights above the bookstore stage glowed softly as I adjusted the mic and looked out into the crowded room. There were readers, fans, fellow writers, even my college professor, who once told me my stories had the power to make people feel seen. But as I scanned the audience for the people who were supposed to mean the most to me, the seats reserved in the front row for my family sat glaringly, painfully empty. I had spent the last 6 years writing this novel. 6 years of stolen time between work shifts, deadlines, heartbreaks, and healing. 6 years of pouring every ounce of emotion I had into the pages that now made up the hardcover copies, proudly displayed behind me. It was my debut, my launch day, the one day I thought they'd show up, not just to support me, but to see the woman I'd finally become after years of being overlooked. Instead, they were flipping burgers in Brad's backyard. My younger brother, Brad, the golden child with a mediocre job, a new girlfriend every season, and an uncanny ability to manipulate our parents into believing he walked on water. He'd thrown a last-minute barbecue to celebrate summer, and somehow that was more important than the launch of my lifelong dream. I found out just a few hours before stepping on stage. My mother had sent a breezy voice note. "Oh, sweetheart, I hope your event goes well. We're heading over to Brad's. He's grilling those lamb chops your dad loves. We'll catch the next one." The next one? Like this was just another reading. Like I was hosting a book club in someone else's basement instead of headlining at a well-known bookstore with a publishing house that had taken a chance on an unknown voice from a small town. After the event, I smiled for photos, signed books, answered questions. My heart breaking behind every practiced expression. My best friend Clara stayed by my side the whole night, her hands sometimes brushing against mine, silently reminding me that some people chose to show up. When I finally returned to my apartment that night, I didn't cry. Not immediately. I just stood in front of the mirror, still wearing the navy dress I bought for this special night. And I stared at myself. I looked like someone who had succeeded, someone who had done something brave. But I didn't feel like it. Not when the people whose approval I had spent my whole life chasing couldn't be bothered to care. The next morning, I woke up to a photo Brad had posted. Him laughing next to the grill, our parents on either side, beaming with drinks in their hands. The caption read, "Real family moments greater than everything else." That's when something inside me broke. No, shifted. They'd always chosen him. He was the one who dropped out of college 3 times, wrecked my car, and never paid me back, and blamed me for being too sensitive when I got upset about being left out. He was the one who got a family cruise for his birthday while I got a gift card to a store. That didn't even carry my size. But this was the final slap. My success wasn't invisible. It was ignored. And that felt worse. I scrolled through the comments under Brad's post. "You've got the best parents. Family first always. This is what matters most." None of them knew they'd skipped their daughter's debut book launch to eat potato salad. That morning, Clara walked into my apartment with a strong coffee and stronger words. "You deserve better, but don't waste your energy on them. Channel it." I didn't answer her then, but her words stayed with me all day. I went to my bookshelf and pulled out an old notebook I used to keep ideas in. The one where I'd scribbled revenge plots I knew I'd never write. I dusted it off. Maybe now I would. I wasn't going to fight fire with fire. I was going to do something smarter, something colder. Because the thing about poetic justice, it lands better when it's quiet and public. That afternoon, I started planning, and they had no idea what was coming. It started with silence. I didn't text back when my mom messaged me later that week with a "how did it go?" I didn't return my dad's half-hearted voicemail, pretending to be excited about the barbecue turnout. I just disappeared. Not in the physical sense. I still posted online, still updated my book's growing following, still showed up at every event. But to them, I went ghost. A week later, I got an email from my publisher. My novel had made it onto the editor's choice shelf across 3 major bookstores in the city. There was even a rumor an indie filmmaker had picked up a copy and was interested in adaptation rights. Things were moving. I was being seen, just not by the people I once needed most. Brad, of course, posted a photo of himself holding my book with the caption, "So proud of my sis. Family success is our success." I hadn't even seen him at the launch. He'd posted that photo from a bookstore 5 days after the event. The comments gushed. "Supportive brother. A real one. You're lucky to have each other." I didn't correct anyone. Not yet. Because the sweetest revenge isn't a single strike. It's 1,000 cuts delivered in full view of everyone who once thought you were powerless. Meanwhile, I worked in the background. You see the bookstore that hosted my event? It was part of a literary cafe chain I'd invested in silently last year. Thanks to a freelance gig writing under a pen name for a billionaire client who thought I was just a ghost writer. He paid well. I invested smartly. And now, quietly, I was a minority stakeholder in 4 locations, one of which happened to be Brad's favorite brunch spot. So I bought the rest of the shares. The owner was looking to retire. The timing was perfect. I didn't change the name or the branding, but I did change the policies, especially the guest list. One Sunday morning, just 2 weeks after my book hit a bestseller list, I got a call from Clara. "You'll want to check this out," she said, laughing. I opened my phone to find a string of Instagram stories. Brad and my parents standing outside the cafe, confused, embarrassed. Apparently, their standing weekend reservation had mysteriously been canceled. When they tried to walk in, the hostess smiled sweetly and said, "We're sorry. Your name's not on the guest list anymore. The new owner has a private event today." My parents didn't recognize her. Why would they? They never paid attention to the staff. But I had handpicked that hostess. She was a friend of Clara's. She knew exactly who they were. I didn't need to be there. Their humiliation was already posted, already shared, already being laughed at quietly by people who were starting to see the cracks behind the perfect family act. But that wasn't enough. I sent out personalized signed copies of my book to every member of my extended family, cousins, aunts, even old family friends, along with handwritten notes that read, "Thank you for believing in me when it mattered most." I made sure to include photos from the launch night, the ones with the empty front row chairs. My parents didn't get a copy. Instead, they received an invite to my upcoming speaking event at a regional literary conference. An invite sent by the conference team, not me. I knew they'd show up. My father loved public recognition too much to pass on the chance to say, "That's my daughter," from the audience. And they did come. They sat near the back. I saw them the moment I stepped onto the stage. I didn't flinch. I delivered a talk titled "The Power of Being Ignored." I spoke of what it's like to grow up invisible. To have your wins dismissed as lucky flukes, your dreams labeled distractions. I didn't say their names, but I didn't need to. Everyone in that room understood. When I finished, the applause was thunderous. My parents clapped, too, awkwardly. I caught their expressions. They looked proud and stunned and exposed. After the talk, my mom tried to approach me, tears in her eyes. "I didn't realize it mattered so much to you," she whispered. I looked at her for a moment and finally said, "That's the problem. You never did." Then I turned, smiled for another fan waiting to have their book signed, and never looked back. A month later, I got an email from a prestigious national award committee. My book had been nominated for Best Debut Fiction. I didn't tell anyone. I let the press release do the talking. The next morning, my parents' phones lit up with congratulations from people they hadn't heard from in years. My father texted me a single line, "We're so proud of you." I didn't respond. Instead, I made a post, a photo of me holding the award. Behind me, a table empty except for 3 chairs marked with name cards. Mom, Dad, and Brad. I captioned it reserved for the people who couldn't make it when it counted. That post exploded. I wasn't petty. I was honest, and people felt it. Days later, I received a letter handwritten from my mother. She apologized not just for missing the launch, but for all the years she didn't show up. She said she didn't expect forgiveness, just that I deserved better. I folded the letter, put it in a drawer. I didn't reply. Not yet. But when I launched my second book, I bought out the same venue again. Front row. I reserved 3 seats. No names this time. Just one word across each chair. Respect. Support. Presence. I let those seats sit empty as a reminder because some people only show up when the spotlight is already on you. But true family, they show up before the lights ever turn on. And I had built my own.